Now, why you will never hit irons as far as you should is because you are missing these two key areas. And once you hit these two key areas, you're going to gain the distance you should be hitting them. So if this is you here, trying to hit your irons, putting good effort into it, and just not getting anything out of it. This is so many amateur golfers out there hitting these high, weak, and quite often fat shots with the irons. So let's get to the first point here, and that is weight shift. So getting your weight and your pressure left in a downswing for a right-handed golfer, getting on that lead side. This is so common and so essential for iron shots. So what I will see so many players who really struggle with their distance, they might get up to the top of the backswing grate, and then from there they have no movement on that left side. So they'll just hang back on the right and then hit these horrible weak shots where they might get away with a good contact like I just did there, but quite often you'll start to hit shots a little bit more like that, chunky. And of course, if we're hitting that ground first, we're not going to be hitting the ball too far at all. And why a lack of weight shift causes you to hit the ball shorter, like we said, fat shots, of course, that's because when we don't get that body shifting onto the left, the low point of the swing arc doesn't get after the golf ball. For us to hit balls and turf, we need the lowest point of the swing arc to be after the ball. That is controlled by our weight shift. The more we shift our weight onto our lead side, more towards the target, the more the low point we get after the golf ball. So if your body hangs back and you don't get that weight shift, you're going to consistently get that low point either level with the golf ball, which means that club is going to ground out early, or maybe even behind it, which means you might even kind of hit a thin shot you could very easily do from that. So that's one big area. But like we said, the other reason why weight shift really slows you down in your distance is because we're not moving that energy towards the target. Best player in the world right now, Scotty Scheffler, he has a ton of weight shift. He doesn't slide, he just really gets his whole body shifting and does a lot more of it than most other tour players, and he gets a ton of distance out of his iron shots. So you need to get that weight shift to get that energy going towards the target, because again, where are we hitting that golf ball? We are hitting that golf ball to the target. We need that energy to get onto that left side. So let's get into a drill to get that weight shift and hit shots a little bit more like this. So here is my favorite drill to get you shifting your weight onto your lead side. So it's called the ball forward drill. Ball at the front of your stance, preferably just on the inside of your lead foot, club out the middle. So you've got this gap between club and ball. Now, if you're gonna just try to hit as good of a contact as you can, your body has to shift more, because if it doesn't, you're gonna either fat it, thin it, or top it. You could even miss it if you really hang back. Cool thing about this, the subconscious will do that shifting for you. You won't actually have to try to do it. You won't have to feel that shift. You just have to think, okay, I want to hit the ball as solidly as I can, and that body really shifts. You might feel like on a few shots when you do this, that you end up kind of moving and losing your balance forward. That's fine. But when you really get this, you're going to notice you're going to hit the ball a hell of a lot further. But you'll also might hit the ball a little bit left, because you're hitting the ball later on the swing arc, which means the club face is just closing down a little bit. So let me hit one here, and I'm just really going to hit that ball as solidly as I can. Really try to get that really good contact. Let's have a look on the flight scope. So as we could see there, absolutely, definitely a little bit left, as we can see, around 171. So absolutely brilliant, 172 actually. So absolutely awesome. That's for an 8-iron. Really gets that weight shifting. And then once you've done a bunch of that, get that ball and put that ball back out the middle of the stance, and imagine that ball is still out the front like you're doing the drill. And that's going to get you still shifting really nicely for those awesome strikes, awesome low point control, and great distance. So the second reason here, now listen to this, if you are occasionally hitting the ball really quite high, not getting it low, you can't keep it down, and then you're occasionally hitting it out to the right as well, maybe a couple fat shots, this is you. You have got an open club face. So when we have an open club face, that will kill your iron shots. Because one, let's say if you deliver this open club face, you can see the toe of the club at shaft parallel to the ground here, pointed behind me, square club face is matching my spine. Open. So if we present that open face to the golf ball, we are going to hit it hugely right. So let's present an open face and have a look at it. Yeah, that felt horrible. And as we can see there, very, very open to the target with that face, and it's gone nowhere, of course. So that's where, if you just presented that open face, that's where you're gonna hit it. But what a lot of golfers do, which is an absolute killer, and you hear this all the time here on YouTube, because it's very, very common of a fault, is you'll see them start to do this, early release. So the main big cause of early releasing and casting into the golf ball, which is the absolute enemy of compression, is an open club face. Because if that club face is wide open, for you to square it, early releasing is the mechanism vast majority of all golfers will do, or they might have a jump stall and quickly flip the hands. So if you want to start to get shaft lean, you have to be able to keep this club face squarer, which is squarer to the spine angle. Now, as you can see here, I'm just going to really focus on that square face and talk about how to do this for the most common reason I see players get this wrong. But look at the distance immediately. As we can see, way longer. How much longer with that of yardage wise? So it is a no-brainer to get that club face nice and square there, guys. So the reason why I see most golfers have the club face open is they are having a ton of extension in that left wrist, or cupping, you could call it. So they might have a nice standard neutral grip, but as they take the club back, they get that real big cupping into it, opening up the face. And if we maintain that cup in that left wrist all the way down, that club face is just going to remain open, and it will actually start to move steeper with the shaft as well. So and then that facilitates the throwing of the hands, also returning the golf ball to that cup position, which is an early release style of pattern there. So we want to fix this. Now, I normally see players who have this cupping in the left wrist, they will actually have a cup in their setup. So just like this here, and I want to see them push those hands a little bit forward. So pushing it forward and pushing the hands slightly down as well, so the club face squares. So if you can get those hands inside the left leg, or even in the middle of your left thigh, that's going to immediately flatten out your wrist angle. And for the vast majority of golfers, that's going to be enough to keep their face square and keep it square. But let's get to a drill, other than just keeping those hands a little bit forward at setup to preset the nice flat left wrist for a squarer face. Let's get to it. So guys, put a glove on. As you can see, I'm someone who doesn't really wear gloves, as this is a spare glove, as you can see. Thumb coming through it a little bit. Give me a break, I don't wear gloves at all. So, but this is great for doing the drill. So pull out a glove, get a tee, and what you do, you put that tee in the front side of your glove, just like so. So now you've got that tee in there. If you start to cup that left wrist, you're going to notice how the tee is going to jab into your forearm. So you're going to feel a bit of pain. So of course, we can just have that feedback mechanism of thinking, okay, I don't want this to jab into my forearm at any point. You can see it's going to stay nice and flat throughout the swing. It will slightly jab into you post-impact. It will slightly cup, and that will get you there. But that's as the angles unload way after impact, so it won't affect the shot. So keep this nice and flat on the wrist for the entire time. Nice setup, hands forward. You can imagine if you could do this with shifting, you're going to be in a great spot there. So let's hit one more, just making sure that we are keeping this left wrist with this tee flat on the wrist the entire time, and then we're good to go. So one more. Brilliant, really makes you feel like you're going to turn and get more rotation through, which helps for speed and distance as well. So get these two areas into your swing. And if you're still struggling after this, there is always the option for online lessons with myself on Skillist. There is a link in the video description. I'll be more than happy to work with you one-on-one. So if you enjoyed this video, click that like button. For more golf instruction, just like this, hit the subscribe button and hit that bell button to be notified every time I put out a video.